What is up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is the infamous, is it infamous or infamous? It's infamous, isn't it? The infamous Texas deep freeze of 2021. Didn't hear about this, which is weird.
I feel like we should have heard about it.
Was I doing reactions in 2021?
No.
Okay, but I said it's weird, so I thought I was doing reactions, which I'd have definitely heard about it.
Yeah, no. 2021 seems like not long ago, but it's 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3
5
years.
ago.
And yeah, if it's in the winter of 2021, at the start of it, then it is, like you say, nearly 5 years. Well, 4 years. Mad. Wow, well, I've never heard about it. Again, have you heard about it?
No.
We're going to find out. Smash that if you enjoyed, guys. Smash that subscribe button. Hopefully too many people wasn't affected by this. We've seen a few times where we've seen like a whole river just frozen, haven't we? Just in different weather events, which can be quite scary. So I imagine this is going to be along the lines. I've just realised the tumble dryer's on. Ooh. Oh, there you go. I turned it off. Sorry if you could hear that for the intro. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get into it. The infamous Texas deep freeze in 2021. What we got?
Total power grid collapse.
We're coming for you, man.
Power grid collapse.
It created a humanitarian crisis.
A statewide blackout.
Texas, a state known for its resilience against heat, suddenly finds itself at the mercy of
Again, we're not going to pause too much because it's a 60-minute video. You associate Texas with heat.
I didn't even think Texas would ever see snow.
Yeah, like we went to Texas in April. It was roasting.
Yeah.
Like because it's so hot. Like, I didn't even think about that part. That's quite mad, isn't it?
Yeah,
Texas has a deep freeze.
Yeah. Weird. I don't associate Texas with cold.
No, definitely not.
brutal winter storms. Families are left grappling with the unprecedented cold and days-long power outages. It soon becomes a life-threatening situation. We'll unravel the great Texas freeze, from how it became a record holder to all the ways this could have been less devastating. When the cold front hit that Wednesday, electric utility crews said they were prepared to respond to all reports of power outages. But this could not have been further from the truth. The next morning, the first weather advisory was issued in northwest Texas. Isolated freezing rain began falling and expanded to neighboring counties after sunset. At 6:30 p.m., a Delta Airlines flight slides off the Pittsburgh International Airport taxiway. With no reports of injuries, passengers were on the aircraft for 3 hours before disembarking. It would be another 24 hours before the plane was removed from the runway.
Oh my days, that's incredibly close to the edge. That could have been so much worse.
I suppose that's why they had to wait for them to get them off safely.
Yeah, not everyone just rushed to the front and it go, I was going to say, I was like, why 3 hours? But that's close to a cliff edge, isn't it? That could have been a lot worse.
While the Delta incident was quickly managed, it was only the first taste of what was to come as the situation in Texas escalated rapidly. Hours later, the Fort Worth 911 center was inundated with desperate calls.
What do I do? Oh my God. I think I hit Winston. I'm confused. My car was spinning. There's a gentleman in a car next to me. He's just screaming. I don't know how many cars are packed up. They're all stacked on top of each other.
First responders arrived at a massive car accident involving 133 vehicles.
133
Many of those involved were healthcare workers wearing scrubs and hospital badges. This included an off-duty EMT who jumped into action, working for hours even though he had a fractured ankle and other injuries from the collision.
I'm not gonna lie, I went into this with quite a lot of energy because I thought it was just gonna be talking about things freezing over, seeing like a few like shots about it and just like an unprecedented weather event. I didn't realise it was like a lot of tragedy, a lot of accidents already.
It's a lot of cars in one accident.
Yeah, 133. Again, it's just from the ice, isn't it?
A lot of them were like lorries as well. So that's like big vehicles.
Yeah, this is super, super scary. If anyone was affected by this, our thoughts go out to you and we hope you're back on your feet and stuff like that. But oh my days.
We're coming to get you, all right? You hurting anywhere? Can you crawl out if I break this window?
Fire engines subsequently closed off the roadway to prevent further pileups. Nearly 120 emergency responders were on the scene to clear the roadway. Meanwhile, buses arrived to help motorists warm up after being freed from their cars to prevent hypothermia. After a 4-hour operation, the death toll would stand at 6. while more than 60 others were treated for injuries, among them 4 police officers. Due to the storm's severity and the scale of the accident, it would be several more days before the road was cleared. The collision was the most staggering crash during the February 2021 storms, but there were many more to come. As the disaster unfolded, Texas declared a state of emergency.
Yeah.
However, the response revealed a significant oversight. Despite prioritizing gas, they relied heavily on electric heating. This revealed a lack of preparedness in managing energy.
Power
By the
outages
weekend,
and stuff.
the freezing temperatures had forced 22 gas power plants to close. The infrastructure, including the production facilities and pipelines, were not designed to operate in such cold conditions. With the demand increased, prices spiked, making heating even more expensive and heightening the risks of power outages. Additionally, shutdowns across critical industries threatened to disrupt the economy, not just locally, but nationwide. As if that
I don't
was
like
not
the fact that please let me know why in the comments below. I hope it's not taking advantage with the power outage price going up. It's still the same power, and it should just be not luck of a draw, but if everyone's trying to get power, whoever can get it at the same price. It shouldn't be going up. In the time of crisis, they shouldn't be going up. There's less, so you've got to pay more for it. Do you not think?
Yeah, unless like a special supply or something.
Yeah, unless it was only the more expensive ones available, then that's a bit different if they had the set price at that. But please let us know in the comments. I just think it's a bit cheeky, that, isn't it? Cause,
yeah, but I guess the same with everything.
yeah.
Unfortunately, in crises, money is money to people.
Yeah,
and if they can make
true,
money out of it,
if it's just a case of they've gone,
it doesn't sit right with me, but from a business point of view, I guess that is.
Oh, yeah, but in a crisis, if they've again, I don't know, so I may be wrong. Please let me know in the comments. If they've gone, so many people out, let's offer them our electricity supply. We can jump onto it for triple the price. Let's make some money. It's a bit like, and it should be like, yeah, let's get them power.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Again, let us know in the comments below. I might be completely wrong. But in a time of crisis, you'd think people have hearts, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
or outages. Additionally, shutdowns across critical industries threatened to disrupt the economy, not just locally, but nationwide. As if that was not enough, an unprecedented winter event was heading straight for southeastern Texas. By the afternoon, an Arctic cold front hit with snow, sleet, and freezing rain battering the area and intensified overnight. The storm was driven by 2 weather patterns. First, higher than normal pressure over the polar region meant lower pressure in the northern U.S., letting extremely cold air move into Texas. And second, a polar vortex that pushed down intense bursts of cold from the North Pole. Roads became impassable, and temperatures dropped to the teens or single digits in places with wind chills below 0. This triggered the state's first ever wind chill and hard freeze warnings. Demand for electricity and gas soared as people bitterly tried to stay warm in unprepared homes.
Yeah.
Due to the overwhelming demand, unplanned outages started happening, and soon the energy provider ERCOT issued a warning about potential rolling blackouts. That very day, President Joe Biden declared a state of emergency.
I can't believe
In the
we didn't
early
hear
hours
about
of the
this.
morning, ERCOT instructed electric companies to reduce power to prevent a grid shutdown. This action, known as load shedding, resulted in more than 3.6 million people losing electricity. Among those affected were the Beckel family, and it all started with a 911 call.
The fire.
We think medical, a wellness check.
What's going on?
We have family there right now, and the last time somebody spoke to them, they fainted on the phone, and we're just trying to find out if they're okay.
Okay, stand on line for Houston Medical. 1 moment.
Oh, that's
The Houston
scary.
Fire Department knocked on the door 13 minutes later, but left when there was no answer. When dispatch returned the call, he didn't warn the firefighters about possible carbon monoxide poisoning.
Nobody's on the scene, so it's one of those things. If they get there and they have to force entry, they're gonna break the door, displace the lock.
Yeah, that's fine. Do that as soon as possible.
Okay. But this isn't your family member, right?
I mean, this is our family. We think that they might have inhaled carbon monoxide in the garage.
Why do you think that?
Because of people that had called them in the morning.
Why would he have been inhaling carbon monoxide is the question.
Because the car was on in the garage and they were cooking because the power was up. Yeah, we're trying to charge their devices.
Well, we have units out there. I'll let them know. I'll make a tactical decision on that incident. I'll get HPD out there.
Again, they left without speaking to anyone inside.
Oh,
It had been more than...
yeah. See, it's such a tough one because you've got to give huge respect to the people in the service and stuff like that because they put their life on lines at times. They're out there in the cold.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like in that situation, you can't leave without getting respect. After someone said they fainted on the phone and they might have carbon monoxide in there.
Is you can't, like, I get why they didn't go in the first time because you can't just walk into someone if you think carbon monoxide is in the air.
I don't know.
You've got to be careful. You've got to go in with the masks, the fire service.
Yeah, no, I get it. But as soon as that door's open, it'll be, I kind of think...
Yeah, maybe. But maybe they wanted to wait for the fire service to be sure, but it sounds like they didn't even bother when they came.
Yeah, I feel like you've got, especially because if something has happened to them, again, I don't want to blame services because at the end of the day, you don't want them to be scared of doing their job for repercussions when they were just doing what they think's right. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like their job
one.
that is their job though, isn't it?
Yeah, you think you like, if you know someone's fainted, they ain't got
And
much power.
I'm not putting
Someone
them down
wants-
because they do a great job, but they know that that's their job. They signed up to that, knowing that was their job.
You think you'd make sure you try and get... It's tough, you don't want to break someone's door down, but then if they've asked you to, then
But
you've been asked to.
also, at the end of the day, if you walk in and they're fine, the worst you've done is break their door, no?
That is so true. Yeah,
Like-
so the question is who pays for it, but if he's
Well,
asked...
the guy on the phone, probably.
Very true, yeah. Again, that's what you guys think in the comments about.
But it doesn't sound like it's going to
tough
be a good
situation.
ending, to be fair.
It doesn't.
More than 2 hours since the first call, and the anxious family member had heard nothing.
I called 2.5 hours ago for a wellness check. I'm calling for an update.
Okay, so we went out there.
Did you make contact with the people inside the home? I spoke to the fire department earlier. It says the truck was there for 15 minutes, but that's all they could tell me.
Okay, that's
people are
the same
still not
thing I can tell you. So I have the same information they have. There's no other update.
Even though this was the third visit to the house, the fire department got lost. They arrived just around midnight. There was still no response to the knocking. However, this time, they didn't just walk away. Instead, they called with additional questions before entering the house.
Okay.
They went to the address. They said it looks empty. Why do y'all think someone's there? Or are y'all sure someone's there?
We think that a family of 2 parents and 2 children is unconscious due to carbon monoxide inhalation.
Oh.
Inside, all 4 family members were found unresponsive. It's believed the family had been unconscious for more than 12 hours before responders arrived. For the 46-year-old mother and her 7-year-old daughter, it was far too late. They were both pronounced dead at the scene. The father and his 8-year-old son were unconscious, but alive, and rushed to the hospital. Tragically,
That's awful,
the
isn't
front
it?
door to the family home had been unlocked all along. Later,
it's
it
even
was
worse.
discovered that the mother was using her car to keep warm. When her husband went to the garage, he found her unconscious inside the car with the engine still running. A Conroe family also woke up to an unimaginable tragedy less than 24 hours later. 11-year-old Christian Pavone was found unresponsive in the bed he was sharing with his younger brother. Just hours earlier, Christian had been excited to see snow for the first time after moving to the U.S. from Honduras in 2019 to live with his mom. Tragic home video footage shows him playing in the snow. In hopes of staying warm, the entire family of 5 huddled in a single room in the family's mobile home. Christian was pronounced dead that afternoon, seemingly from hypothermia. But the autopsy would tell a different story, one that would lead to a lawsuit. While families faced the brunt of the storm inside their homes, outside, the state's infrastructure began to crumble under pressure. By this point, many methane gas processing plants had lost power because they weren't listed as essential services. This made it harder to supply gas to power stations. To combat the energy shortfall, regulators manually boosted the electricity supply, but this action triggered a sudden spike in prices, with residents seeing dramatically higher energy bills. Neighboring states were also affected by the cold, but managed to import power from the unaffected East Coast. However, this offered little reprieve for Texas, which has a largely autonomous electric grid with limited outside connections.
Okay.
It was 5 days into the storm,
just
and
on
it
their own.
just kept getting worse.
Wow.
Grocery stores were starting to feel the weight of the supply issues. Customers were limited in the water and propane sales. Meanwhile, there were conflicting statements in the media regarding the blackout. Government officials said that renewable energy was mainly responsible, while ERCOT contradicted this by saying that frozen wind turbines were not the main factor in the blackouts. The following day, temperatures started picking up, but Texans were unaware of what was still to come. As the day progressed, more power generation was restored and the rolling blackouts ended throughout the state. As the power crisis eased up, a new challenge emerged. The extreme weather had caused water mains to break, forcing people to drip their faucets to prevent pipes from freezing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was going to say there's more problems. I guess it's mad because the northern states get this every year, but they're prepared for it, aren't they?
Yeah,
I guess
their homes are prepared for it. They know what to do. They can handle it.
Yeah, because I mean, this cold front was coming in from the north. Oh, went out of focus. This cold front was coming in from the north, so like they were getting it potentially worse. But I guess they
I feel like it's the same comparison in terms of preparedness. Like when we get that hot week and we're like we can't cope, and everyone's like, we have this, we get it hotter, blah, blah. We don't have aircon. We don't have the conditions to deal with it. That's why it kind of seems worse.
I mean, obviously, this isn't a more extreme example.
But, in terms of they're not prepared.
Yeah, other places get the same amount of cold
I'd be
potential as
interested
this,
to know, though,
if,
they saw this coming, weather-wise.
I guess even if you see it coming a month out, you can't change your entire infrastructure of an electrical grid in a month. It'll take years and years. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to change everyone's homes to be a bit more cold friendly. Do you know? I guess maybe if you could have rolled out information about the cars, because I wouldn't have thought about carbon monoxide running the car going in there. Do you know what I mean? It's potential if you're running the car in there constantly. If I were freezing and we needed to go in the car to heat up, you would. You wouldn't think about it. Maybe you would. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you just go in and then it potentially could easily happen. Like, unfortunately, it did. So it's a tough one, isn't it? I'm really surprised we didn't hear about this. I weren't expecting this when we did this video.
No, I wasn't.
Additionally, power outages impacted water treatment plants, resulting in a decrease in the water system pressure. The consequences were dire. Almost half of Texans were left without access to clean water. Their only option was to boil water from taps or melt snow. Unfortunately, due to the ongoing power outages, many were unable to do so.
Yeah.
The severity of the situation was documented on social media, which was flooded with images of people filling buckets with water and resorting to makeshift solutions like using plastic bags and toilets. The power outages even disrupted food distribution, causing some to be turned away from queues. But for some, it was even worse. Burst pipes and water mains caused severe flooding in some homes and apartments.
That's awful.
Most houses had their water mains buried in the front yard, hidden under layers of snow, making it hard for residents to locate the shutoff valve. While residents struggled with frozen water mains, another emergency unfolded. Firefighters were called to a blaze at the Hilton Garden Inn. They arrived at the hotel where flames and huge columns of smoke were rising from the roof.
We stayed at a Hilton Garden Inn.
The hotel was booked to capacity, with locals occupying most of the 102 rooms due to the severe weather, which had left them with limited or no access to water at their homes.
4 rooms are starting to fall in. If we're going to start going checking there, we need to start forcing the doors. No time for keys. Some type of Salvation Army response. We got a large number of displaced residents. A large number.
2 days before the fire, frozen pipes had caused flooding in the hotel lobby. To prevent further damage, the fire sprinkler system was turned off. Unfortunately, this left the building vulnerable. When the fire started, the disabled sprinklers let the fire spread quickly. Firefighting was made even harder because burst pipes had also damaged the city's water supply. Firefighters were able to contain the blaze after midnight. One guest suffered minor injuries, and 2 others were treated for smoke inhalation. Sadly, a family pet named Chico the Chihuahua was lost in the fire. Just before the 9th day, the Great Freeze was finally over. But for victims affected by the power crisis, their fight was only just beginning.
The damage is still there, isn't it?
It was time to figure out why things had gone so horribly wrong. Was the Great Freeze really unprecedented? And was it a coincidence that Texas was caught so off guard? The main issue was undoubtedly the high energy demand for heating in an unprepared state. The disaster was blamed on unprecedented weather, but it was somewhat predictable. This was the third time recommendations were ignored. Surprisingly, the situation could have been much worse. During the power outage, ERCOT admitted in narrowly avoiding a prolonged blackout that could have lasted for months. The company defended its actions, which resulted in the largest forced power cut in U.S. history. Approximately 90% of Texans rely on ERCOT for their electricity, which primarily comes from sources like natural gas, wind, and coal. Despite its crucial role, ERCOT does not operate its own power grid. Instead, it works with over 1,800 companies, providers, and utilities in the energy market to manage the supply of electricity. Tragically, at least 19 people died from carbon monoxide poisoning during the storm.
That's awful.
Among them was 11-year-old Christian Pavone, whose autopsy revealed a similar cause of death. Initially suspected to have succumbed to hypothermia, it was later found that carbon monoxide poisoning was the actual culprit. Investigators found the fatal fumes were caused by a gas-powered generator intended for outdoor use. Notably, Texas is among 6 states without a mandate for carbon monoxide alarms. Soon, thousands of Texans filed lawsuits against ERCOT for deaths, injuries, and damages. But they would fail. The Supreme Court ruled that the energy supplier has sovereign immunity, which protects government agencies that provide essential services. There were 246 deaths in total, but even this was debated by the community. The storms caused $80 to $130 billion in losses from damages and missed opportunities. Nearly a year later, the National Transportation Safety Board's investigation into the 133-car pileup found that road operators had been warned about the severe weather. While de-icer was applied to the road surface, temperatures dropped lower than expected, which led to treacherous road conditions. Since then, Texas has passed Senate Bill 3, which mandates the weatherization of energy infrastructure to withstand extreme weather and requires regular compliance inspection.
It's one of them where it's a shame.
You can do kind of as learn, isn't it?
Unfortunately, as a lot of things in life, something happens and then you react to it. It's not proactive, it's more reactive, isn't it? Like it is, but at least
something's in place so it doesn't happen again, hopefully.
Yeah, so if the weather is bad again, then hopefully we have 0 deaths or something like that. Do you know what I mean? That'd be amazing.
ERCOT improved its response to emergencies and public communication, creating a more reliable grid. The Public Utility Commission of Texas also strengthened management and enforcement to ensure compliance with new standards. Furthermore, public awareness campaigns have educated residents on home insulation, emergency preparations, and the dangers of carbon monoxide poisoning. But questions remain. Will these measures handle future extreme weather?
Hopefully.
Will weatherization finally be a priority? And most importantly, is Texas prepared for future storms?
Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. We're no experts. I feel like I came into this, like I said, with way too much energy. I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. Like, generally, that was my thoughts. I was like,
I was thinking about, like, snow and...
Going to see some sick frozen lakes and stuff like that. Something in mad houses all frozen up. Little did we know it was going to be, obviously, this. So anyone affected, we hope you're doing better now. If you've lost people you know, we're sorry for your loss. And yeah, I guess a heart's go out to everyone who was affected.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? And hopefully something like this doesn't happen again.
Hopefully they're prepared now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't ask for ratings and art on videos like this. Some things are just more important in life, aren't they? And trying to be happy every day is one of them, isn't it? So what should we do?
Have a fantastic day.
And we'll see you legends in the next one. Peace.